Greetings, ladies and gents, and welcome to this latest narration of the web series Accidentally Adopted. If you're new to the series, there is a playlist listed down below in the description. And as always, I hope that you enjoy. Part 2, Chapter 7, A Friend in Need. Dear Diary, making a schedule was harder than I thought. For instance, how long is an hour? Well, 60 minutes. Cool. How long is that? In the end, I set a timer for a minute, and Sneaky said that he thinks a minute and hours are close. The useful thing is that his year works out to be close to ours too, just 5 days short. Which means that after over 300 years of waiting, he guesses he'd be off by a year. He just decided to ignore the differences in calendars and set up a sort of daily routine for when we're sailing. I didn't really do anything special, since he says he normally sleeps 6 hours. That leaves him 18 hours to work with. Now, the 4-hour block that match up with Daddy's workday are easy. Study with Yoiv in the morning, and go on rounds with me and Daddy, or exercise with the other kids in the afternoon. He said he'd love to play games with us, and that he could beat the older kids in his higher gravity. We'll see about that. Anyway, when I told him that Yoiv was on a break from learning how to read and write, he was kind of surprised that it was because Mom was waiting for Yoiv to get bored of his new pet and focus on studying again. He said sorry for not being boring enough. His face was too blank for it to not have been a joke. Not giving it away with his face was probably part of the joke. Yoiv giggled. Anyway, that meant that he had 10 hours left over. He said to take 6 hours off for breakfast and dinner time, and that only left him with another 4 hours. I was confused until he asked, through Yoiv, if I had noticed how long it takes to get ready in the morning, including braiding his, Yoiv's, and my hair. Then he said to think about how much time the family just spends quietly relaxing in our quarters. I never realized how full every day was. It doesn't feel like you do much day to day, but when you put it all down on a chart, you look real busy. Anyways, he wants to have an hour of exercise, but he tried to explain that it's like, super exercise? Like for his old job exercise. He seemed frustrated that he couldn't find the word, but he told me not to worry. I didn't think I did anything special, but since Sneaky can't read yet, I did some simple illustrations of him doing the activities, but he thought that it was really cool. He even said that seeing I was a good artist, who got lots of practice, was a good sign that he was in a good house on the first day, which led to talking about his first day. He smiled and shook with a silent laughter as he signed that he was surprised when he figured out that he was a pet. I told him that he terrified us, and we thought that we'd found him curled up somewhere dead. Well, maybe I shouldn't have told him because he got all sad and told me that he was sorry. He tried to explain that he had to learn what kind of place he was in, if it was good or bad. Yoiv told him that's why Daddy put the lock on his door, because he was scared he'd get hurt while we weren't looking. That cheered him up, and he just signed, I showed him.
That's when Tantran named you Sneaky,
Yoiv helpfully told him. I was meaning to ask, what is the word?
Good at being out of sight and quiet.
I was worried he wouldn't be able to breathe when he started laughing. That basically took up all of our time until Daddy came home, and he said we should watch a movie. Thankfully, Mom picked out something before he got to the menus. Log 6,000,9.09. Personal, Captain Yomdrill. It's Sneaky's first day aboard as an official guest, and very properly he spent it as he wished, which seemed to mainly be playing with Yomdrill and helping Trandy with making a schedule chart for him. It was very clever, using dots to denote hours out of a 24 to denote the time, and little illustrations of Sneaky engaging in various activities. Looks like they're alternating going to the gym with the other children with doing the maintenance rounds with me. Now that we know Sneaky is a person, it's not really an opportunity for one-on-one father-daughter chats though. I shall have to establish something else. Maybe take her up to the galley to talk over some tea. She's old enough for a mild brew, but Trevty might be reluctant to allow her to indulge in caffeine, no matter how mildly. I took the opportunity to read during my warm body shift. And looking back, Sneaky is much less confusing. He's probably trained to escape and fight in captivity, and only the poachers, drugs, and electric prods kept him at bay. Considering the small fraction of his skill he's shown, because I doubt he was ever fully committed to acting in a combat paradigm, I think he and his people would be terrifying enemies to provoke. Anyway, most of what I read has to do with boarding actions, either repelling or committing, and the effects it can have on a man. But he said his job was on planets. Maybe his people's sailors and planeteers kept up their bonds of brotherhood. It would certainly be interesting to learn about. Regardless, I think much of the advice about not prying for information about how he feels, being present when he is in distress, and being attentive if he does wish to share will still apply. If Trandy does not either intuit these strategies or think to research them, I'll send her some of these resources. I thought more about how Sneaky wants to contribute to the ship as I went on my maintenance rounds, and I concluded that it's not dishonorable to allow it. Wouldn't I be offering him insults to refuse his attempt to fit in? Is this not him accepting us and trying to make a place amongst us? How then could I refuse with honor? The guest right must still be observed, and I think that he'll be content to study for 14 days or so. When I got home, I was in the mood to watch Call of the Blade, but Travdy beat me to the menus and we watched Upon the Waves. It's not bad, but it gets a little saccharine at points. Journal entry 15, date 1/2/7, name Greg George. So Linus picks up on shooting from cover rather quickly. Good, we will soon own this deck, you and I. We can even recruit the other toddlers to our calls. Our calls of shooting everyone with foam darts and laughing when they can't catch us. I am a mature and responsible adult. Lucy helped me block out my time by making a chart. She did these great little drawings of me doing the various things at times, represented with dots since I can't read Lever C's. Her drawings were fucking badass. She got just a shade lilac when I told her how great they look, so she's a little self-conscious about her art. Well, her and every last artist ever. Pretty sure the first caveman to smear paint on a wall said, "Rock sucker, yes, Grog need practice paints me a better." But more importantly, this chart has drawings of me being with my friends. Hell yeah. We got a little sidetracked, and I guess I must have looked like crap warmed over in hell when they picked me up, because when I slipped around to scout the area, they were afraid that I'd crawled off someplace to die. Crap. That's rough. I'm sorry, new friends. I wasn't trying to hurt anybody. I explained as well as I could that I needed to determine whether I was still in hostile territory. I think they got it, kind of. Crap's hard. That's when Lucy explained my nickname. Sneaky. They named me Sneaky. I laughed so hard I think my sides are still on the roof. Pops came home and declared movie night, but instead of badass naval battle and four-armed sword fighting, it was a sappy-ass romance movie full of will they won't they crap. Just fucking kiss her already, you idiot! I almost feel like I'm on Overwatch, but with no crosshairs. Don't get me wrong, I'm on lookout for threats against my friends, but crap's weird. Is this what home feels like for someone like me? End of chapter. I would just like to thank the T5 supporters: Bushmaster 117, Casper Arnholtz, Dragzoon W.R.E, Elijah Silvercross, Gray, Jon Creighton, and Sevaren Serberous. Thank you very much.